What's good, everyone? It's your boy Salos, and today we are back with another Fire Emblem Heroes video to talk about the new dancers that are going to be releasing on Friday. And you might have heard a lot of people not too thrilled about this banner. It's for a multitude of reasons. One, I mean, dancers are cool and all, don't get me wrong, but a lot of veterans have all the dancers they need. Like, you only need probably at max 7 dancers for Arena Assault if you really want to cheese it that way. And we have 7 dancers in the game, so a lot of people will just have that, and there's really no point in using dancers in Arena because they just have terrible BST, because dancers get a BST penalty. And in the current Arena setting, if you have bad BST, your unit is basically unviable, which is why Armor Emblem, which is why Dragon Emblem is so prominent, because they have very good BST. So, on top of that, ranged heroes who also have a penalty, which is why you don't see ranged heroes that much in Arena outside of things like Nino, is also contributing. And every single unit on this banner is a ranged hero. So combine the two, what do you get? A banner full of not so well scoring units, which means you're gonna have like about 140 BST around the board. And just in case we're on the same page, BST translates to how the stats are distributed. So the lower your BST is, the worse your stats are gonna be overall, because you don't have that many points to allocate towards your overall stat distribution. It's like a pool. Like, if you can only pull but so much, so the smaller your pool is, then the more you have to ration the stat distribution. So they have to be very well min-maxed, or there's gonna be like a hot mess like Shigure. But I've doing enough talking. Let's get into this already. So first off, we're starting off with Xander, and he has 35 attack, 17 speed, 34 defense, and 16 res. And overall, he's about what well, at least what I expected him to be. Because in the games, Xander is not known for being a magical tank, which was always kind of odd because he has a disencounter weapon, but he's not really so great at taking ranged hits. I mean, I guess he's good for like archers and daggers, but even daggers, they slowly chip him down with like AoE damage and debuffs. So I always found Xander an awkward unit. That's why I even never put on the mine to 5 stars. It's not even just a Fire Emblem Heroes thing. That's how I always view them in Fates as well. But 34 defense and 35 attack, obviously that's pretty good. Like, his set, I believe he has close counter and quick riposte and odd defense wave, so that can actually get to 40 defense, which is pretty close to his cavalry counterparts. On top of the fact he also give that plus 6 defense to other units as well. Xander looks like he's going to be a pretty fun dagger user to use. Like, he's going to be good up close and from afar. Kind of sort of like the old Takumi in a way, just not as cancerous, I'd say. I believe that he also has a horse slaying dagger. So, I mean, this would have been good like, what, 6 months ago when horse meta was still a thing. But since that's kind of dead and buried, I think that it's not very that relevant of an effect. Overall, Xander looks like he's going to be a competent unit overall, but I don't think that he's going to be amazing. But he definitely has a place. And I'm going to say he's one of the better close counter users. I still think that Winter Tharge is the best close counter user, but hey, he's not bad either. Next, we're going on to my boy Ryoma, who has 36 HP, 32 attack, 34 speed, 21 def, and 17 res. Now, this unit right here, if you get him with an attack bane, not bane, do not get him with attack bane, an attack boon, that's 35 attack and 34 speed. Sound familiar? Yeah, he can have pretty much Brother Cordelia stat spread. Well, almost. He has 1 less speed, but for a dagger hero, that's pretty impressive. So, granted, brave daggers aren't really a thing, but I mean, you just give him a barbed shuriken, and he's going to be doing some pretty interesting things. Let me actually see. So he has Triangle Adept, Chill Defense, and Spur Res and Speed. And his dagger is effective against armored foes. Okay, he had the weird one. So the problem with being effective against armored foes is he's a blue unit. Like, the one time he needed to be red, he's not red. So okay, you're good against Zelgius, whoop-de-doo, but what do you do when you fight a Hector? What do you do, which there are 3 of running around, by the way. What do you do when you fight a Grima? What do you do when you fight a +10 Sheena? There are like just so many good armored heroes that are green. I don't really see him being a useful effect. That's why I said that, I mean, if there's a red dagger unit, I'd say he's good fodder for that unit, because then you'll be able to deal with the greens. And you're also going to be able to fight Zelgius neutrally, because I don't think that the color advantage really makes all that much of a difference if you have a high attack stat. So if we get like a dagger which I'm pretty sure he's going to be a bow, like a red bow arm anyway. But in the off case that he was a dagger unit, he'd be a good candidate for this. But his stat spread is good nonetheless. If we ever get a more prominent red armored heroes, then I think that he's going to be a pretty good unit. But until then, sadly, he's held back by his color typing, which is really unfortunate. Oh, and also I'm on the topic. A lot of people have been confused on how the colored daggers are going to be inherited, but I don't think that they're going to be locked to like Ryoma. He's a blue dagger hero. I don't think that is going to be a quote-unquote blue dagger, because look at how they treat colored bows. Colored bows. Colored bows can still take colorless bows. They can still use Brave Bow. They can still use Slaying Bow. Like, Bravelyn is not restricted to her one bow. She can use whatever she wants. Same thing with dragons. You can get male Kana, who has Water Breath, which would be a quote-unquote blue breath, and you can put it on male Grima, who is a green dragon. So I don't think that they're going to be locked to a specific color, and that's just a misconception I'm missing with a lot of people. So don't think they're not going to be inheritable, because I'm pretty sure that they are. We'll find out on Friday, but I'm like 97% sure that you'll be able to inherit them. Next we have Alentia, who has 34 HP, 29 attack, 35 speed, 20 defense, and 21 res. Oh boy, okay, so 29 attack is not good whatsoever. A green dagger who is effective against dragons. Oh, and they all have Hardy Bearing built in. I didn't even mention that. I think that's more of a hindrance than a help though, because that means they can't run things like Desperation, because that changes their priority. I guess that'll be good like in the niche situations that you fight like a disencounter advantage. The disencounter advantage combo, I guess, is still a thing, kind of, sort of, but not really, because Vantage doesn't score that well for arena purposes, so people run Wrath instead. But I guess if you run into that one rare disencounter Vantage, Black Luna is gonna save you. But again, most of the really good dragons aren't blue anymore. Like, when it comes to blue dragons, you have what? Male Kana, Corrin, and Naui. Naui, okay, sure, I'll give you. Like, people still build +10 Nauis. Corrin, people kind of sort of underrate. I think that she's a pretty good hero, but people just don't build her, so you don't really see her that much. And male Kana is pretty much used as fodder half the time. So, yeah, while blue dragons are good in concept, we just don't have that many of them, so we just never see them. And what else does she have? She has the attack speed push, which is pretty good. I think that you're going to want to run life and death though, because outside, like, you're going to be good for one fight, and then you're going to just freaking lose it because you take that one attack penalty. That one drop. And Yeah, they have 29 attack. I really hope she has like a super boon attack or something. Really hoping that's the case. Because if that's the case, then you can get a super boon attack, and then that's 33 attack, which means she's actually kind of salvageable. She ain't taking nothing with 20 defense, 21 res though, so I think that you shouldn't even worry about that. But yeah, that's Alencia. She's not amazing, but if she has a super boon attack, she won't be terrible. And last but not least, we have the not so bad unit, Micaiah. She has 33 HP, 34 attack, 20 speed, 18 depth, and 34 res. And again, let me get her pulled up. Micaiah. I'm actually looking at Phoenix Master 1's video, and he maybe he did this in order, I'm not sure, but all I know is that it's super out of order for me. Okay, cool, I got it, nice. So, with 34 res and 34 attack, obviously the first thing that comes to mind is Quick Riposte, and Quick Riposte will not conflict with the what's it called, the Hardy Bearing effect built into the weapon. So I think that she actually uses this effect the best because she doesn't have speed to begin with. While all these other units, yeah, I guess that Xander and Micaiah use this weapon the best because they don't need desperation, but it really screws over Ryoma and Alencia. Because since they can't run that, what do you run? Like chills? I guess that's your next best thing. Probably Lynx maybe. But yeah, I think that they're the best users because Hardy Berry is already pretty good as a niche. I don't even see people upgrade Hardy Berry all that much, to be honest. I can't remember the last time I even saw that skill. But maybe they release more units that have skills that change priority. You might see it more, but we've only gotten Desperation since the beginning of the game, so yeah, that kind of shows how much the game has progressed in that perspective. But it's whatever. I think that her tome is pretty good though, because like I said, it's a red tome, although sometimes it's kind of overkill to have an armor. It's kind of overkill to have a mage have effective damage against an armored unit, because like think about like Zelgius, he already has really bad res, so she'll probably one-shot him anyway. But you never know, it might come in handy. Like it might come in handy against like a blue armor, because then she's doing less because of the triangle disadvantage, but then she's hitting on their low res on top of effective damage. So I think it might actually be pretty alright. Cavalry, not going to mention because Horse Emblem is dead and buried, but I think the armor effect is pretty cool. And like I said, being able to hit through Vantage, the rare Black Luna Vantage things that you see every now and then, it's going to be pretty useful. And Res Ploy is pretty good as well. Unfortunately, that means you're going to have to ditch her Fire Flood dance. It'd be pretty good if it was a seal, but unfortunately you just don't have room for it. Attack Res Bond, sure, you can keep that if you really want it. It'll be pretty good for baiting. But overall, I don't think these are must-have units. Ranking this objectively, I'd probably say the best hero is Micaiah, then Xander, then Ryoma, and at last Alencia. Not saying that Alencia is bad. Like if blue dragons were more common, like having a Dragon Slayer dagger is pretty good in itself, but I don't think that I think it's good like on Soul, it's good, but then that actually negates with his desperation sets, so I'm not even sure if that even matters. Like it might be good on someone like Felicia, maybe, I'm not sure, but the point is it's not good on her. Her dagger is good, it's just not good on her. Ryoma, he's good, he's just the wrong color. And if the meta ever changes to like a hyper aggressive red meta, like when the game first started, then I can say Ryoma being a pretty good unit. Xander's just pretty solid as a melee as like a close counter unit, that can be pretty niche at times. And Micaiah is just the best unit, I believe, because she's the right color, she has the right armor slayer for the appropriate situation. So I just think that she's the best overall. And I think that overall these heroes are pretty skippable. And I would still recommend the old dancers over the new dancers, because you have Performing Arts Azura, who is, while her weapon's a little outdated, you can still find some use for that. Inigo is still pretty good as a TA Ravenshelm user, because if you still struggle with Bravelyn, who is still meta, by the way, well, she's not really too meta, but if you struggle with her, then Micaiah is not your girl to be taking those hits, but Inigo can actually take a hit or two. Shigure is pretty bad, but the rest of them are pretty good. I think that just avoid blues and you'll be good for the old one, while these are just average at best. Overall, I'm probably going to be pulling for Ryoma, maybe, because I really want a Ryoma. I really want to make Ryoma Emblem as soon as it's possible to make. So I might pull for him. I'm not sure. We'll see. Best case scenario, I'll get him as a free summon, but I'm not spending for this banner. What do you guys think about this banner? I've been talking for a long time, but I think that's gonna wrap it up for me. Thank you everyone so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. But until then, adios.